Rania, I hear the word liberal all the time, but it seems to change meaning depending on who says it. What does liberal actually mean? That's a very good observation. Liberal is a word with several layers. At its core, liberal means open, generous, or allowing freedom, but the context really matters. Let's start with the simple meaning. What does liberal mean in everyday language? In everyday use, liberal often means generous or plentiful. For example, use a liberal amount of oil, which means use a lot of it. So liberal doesn't always mean political? Not at all. That's one of the biggest misunderstandings. Liberal existed long before its political meaning became popular. What about attitudes or behavior? Can a person be liberal? Yes. A liberal person is often open minded, tolerant, and willing to accept different ideas or lifestyles. So if someone is liberal, they don't judge others quickly? Exactly. A liberal attitude means allowing freedom of thought and expression. I've heard teachers described as liberal. What does that mean? A liberal teacher is flexible, understanding, and not overly strict. They give students room to think and express themselves. That sounds positive, but sometimes I hear liberal used negatively. Yes, especially in political discussions. In politics, liberal refers to a set of beliefs often connected to social freedom, equality, and government support for social programs. But depending on the speaker, it can be praised or criticized. So the word liberal itself isn't negative or positive. Correct. Liberal is neutral. The emotion comes from the context and the speaker's opinion. What about phrases like liberal use or liberal policy? Liberal use means generous use. A liberal policy usually means rules that allow more freedom rather than strict control. Is liberal related to education? Yes. Liberal arts refers to subjects like literature, philosophy, history, and languages. The idea is to educate the mind broadly and freely. So liberal arts are about thinking freely? Exactly. They encourage critical thinking and openness. Can liberal describe parenting? Yes. Liberal parenting means parents give children more freedom and trust instead of strict rules. That helps. I was confused because I thought liberal always meant politics. That's very common. But remember, the core meaning of liberal is freedom, openness, and generosity. Let me try using it in different ways. The teacher is liberal with deadlines. The recipe needs a liberal amount of salt, and his views are quite liberal. That's excellent. You used liberal in three different contexts correctly. I can see why this word causes misunderstandings. Yes, because people forget that liberal changes meaning with context. So whenever I hear liberal, I should ask, liberal in what sense? Exactly. Behavior, generosity, education, or politics. The context tells you everything. I feel much clearer now. Good. Understanding liberal means understanding freedom in language. Thanks, Rania. That explanation was very liberal with examples. You're welcome. I'm always liberal with explanations when it helps.